All right, hello! Can you guys hear me? This stream was actually loaded in a different way than normal, where I was able to set it up in advance. So I'm trying it out. I'm hoping it all works the same because it looks roughly the same to me. So just double checking. Hello! Before we dive into the spoiler cards, can you actually, can you see me? Can you hear me? Are we good? Well, you know what? I'm going to start saying some hellos like I do. What up, Mendoza Sticks, Lulu, Voim, Ascendant, Himrod, Brave Old Man, YouTubes, who else? Joku, Caretaker, Theodore, David J, Nick. All right. Okay, aside from being tiny, I'm perfect. Okay, then we're good. We're good. I will be the tiny little guy here. Little blurry on the left. That's your eyes, Nick. That's your eyes, bro. You gotta go to the doctor for that one. I can't help you with that. So let us dive in to the leak action. I have said the initial greetings and hello to any lurkers or anybody who shows up after the stream has taken place. If for some reason you don't know how things go on Hatcher, make sure you're not watching the stream with any children, all right? Just to be clear. Now that that's out of the way, let us see what we've got here. So we're talking about the Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate massive leak that occurred, right? Basically, I did a video of it over on the Historian, talking about some of the new mechanics, the initiative concept. We'll talk about it here as well. I just did a little summary of what happened over there. There are a bunch of links that you can follow, but we're not going to bother with that. We're just going to be looking at all the cards because that's really what people care about. And there's a summary here at the beginning as well. So you've got the new mechanic initiative, which is similar to the Monarch mechanic. Basically, you get to venture into it. Actually, you know what? Never mind. We're going to look at the cards. We don't need to go through this. We're literally going to look at the cards. All right. So initiative is right here on the first card, which is why it's better to just skip down to it. Now, let me just make sure that, hold on. Is it better? Where does it look best? Probably right around there, right? Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. You can see everything clearly. All right. So, initiative is a card that you get that is just sits outside the game like a token card, right? It's used to represent who has the initiative. It's like the Monarch ability from, what was it called? Conspiracy, in that if you hit the player who has it, you get to take it away, right? So if you can smack the guy who has initiative, you get initiative. And whenever you get initiative, and if you happen to keep initiative to the beginning of your upkeep, you get to venture into the Undercity. So I'm interested in how it works. The Undercity says at the top, you can't enter this dungeon unless you venture into the Undercity. But once you've entered into the Undercity, can you then use other venture cards to progress through the Undercity? This one's got solid abilities. You know what I mean? The secret entrance straight out lets you search your library for a basic land card and put it into your hand. Then you can either put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature by going Forge route, or Scrying 2 by going to the Lost Well. Then you get to choose either to do 5 damage, go to creature, or create a treasure token, depending on the path you've taken. The Archives after that let you draw a card. The Catacombs give you a 4/1 black skeleton creature token that has Menace. And then you've got Throne of the Dead 3. Reveal the top 10 cards of your library, put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put 3+1/+1 counters on it. It gains hexproof until your next turn. And then you shuffle. That is a pretty solid dungeon. Feels stronger than the ones we've seen before, right? So I'll be curious to see how much this makes an impact, because now Wizards has to lean on one dungeon for a set when 3 dungeons weren't really giving enough of a power level before, right? So you kind of look at it and go, what's this really going to mean? I guess you don't have to worry about taking the time to choose the dungeon each time now. Or I guess when you venture with anything other than initiative, you will. So there is that clunkiness with Arena. So then there's Astral Confrontation. 1 white and 4 for an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each opponent you are attacking. And it's got Exile Target Creature. After voyaging all the way through the Astral Sea with my life hanging by a silver thread, fighting the Mind Flayer was the easy part. Oh, what? No way. That's so cool. It just clicked what this is. I didn't realize it when I saw this card previously. This is somebody who's gone to the astral plane, right? Basically, it's like, I'm going to the astral plane. Once you go to the astral plane, you're tethered to your body by a silvery cord. And if that cord gets severed, you fucked. Right? So it's this arduous journey through the astral plane. It's great. At the end, fighting the Mind Flayer was the easy part. The harrowing journey through the astral plane. That's great. That flavor is awesome. Even if the card itself isn't super exciting. Do you know what I mean? It's like 5 mana exile a creature. If you attack 2 people, then it only costs 3. Whatever. What up, Nathan? How you doing, buddy? How you doing, bro? Nick, no phones, no leaks. Nuh-uh, not this time, buddy. Apparently what happened here was somebody was brazen, from the story that's told, somebody was brazen enough to literally steal finished collector boosters of the set and give them to somebody else. So this isn't like they took pictures inside the facility. It's a legit way higher level situation where somebody may have done corporate theft and stolen the packs. Bro, the call's coming from inside the house, but the call is actually somebody stealing the packs. So, yeah. You can't, there's no way to stop leaks 100%, man. I guess not no way, but the amount of money and hassle that would be involved is far beyond anything Wizards would ever pay, right? So, next up, we've got the Blurriest Aarakocra Sneak. 1 blue and 3 for a 1/4, I'm going to say, 1/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Flavor text says, shh, I think I hear goblins, and I definitely smell them. All right, well, there you go. There you go. Meh. Blur, 1 blue and 2, exile a target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control and draw a card. It's as much a trick of the mind as it is a trick of the eye. I like this as a flavor concept. This works. The idea of like, yo, I'm blurring things so you can't hit me with whatever was about to happen. The sword will pass through me. Whatever it is, it's actually just passing through a blurred image of me. The flavor of that is solid. Then we've got Goggles of Night. And listen to the goggles of the night. I'm going to have my own little Phantom of the Opera cosplay with these. 1 blue and 1 for equipment that says whenever a quick creature deals combat damage to a player, scry 1, then draw a card. With no downside? Just straight up, whenever you deal combat damage, scry 1 and draw a card. All right, you know what? I'll slap this in my cube. I'll give it a go. Even if the artwork does feel goofy. Like, what is with that face, bro? Let me slap this on. I'm going to one of them steampunk conventions. I hope I meet some dudes in bowler caps and suits so we can talk about how much we like new Capana. Illithid Harvester. Oh, this was the one that I was talking about. It puts tadpoles into people and then turns them into horrors. It's awesome. 1 blue and 4 gets you a 4/4, but it's a what's it called? Eldraine style storybook thing, where the story side is pay 2 blue and X, tap X target creatures. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. That's you putting tadpoles in them, bro. That's pretty nutty. You put a tadpole in them and they're like, ah, and it hurts so much when the tadpole's ringing along, oh God, and they're laying on the ground, help me, mama, right? And then the Illithid Harvesters all standing over them like, ah, blah, 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 blah. And then they just turn into horrors. That's the other half. You get, what is it again? Seromorphosis? When a Illithid Harvester enters the battlefield, turn any number of target tap non-token creatures face down. They're 2/2 horror creatures. So that's the tadpoles coming out and turning you into a weird slappy horror, just flopping around on the ground and stuff. But the thing is, you remember who you are, bro, because it doesn't change who controls them or whatever, right? Like, whoever plays the Harvester doesn't get control of the horrors. So if I had like a big dragon or some legendary character, I got like Admiral Brass out. I'm like, I got my grandma pirate and we're ready to go. And you're like, bonk, I put a tadpole in her head. And it's like, and she's all spazzing on the deck of her ship. No, mama, no. And then she just gets tadpoled. But she still remembers being Admiral Brass and she's all splorping around there. Damn it. You know what I mean? That's intense flavor, bro. This is a cool card. You can also use it to reset your morphs if you want to, right? So you can go morphs, flip back over, and get ready for more morphing. I like this card a lot. Then we got Sea Hag. 1 blue and 4 for a move your thumb off the power and toughness. It's got aquatic ingress. 1 blue and 2 adventure instant. Up to 2 target creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked. When Sea Hag enters the battlefield, creatures your opponent control get -4/-0 until end of turn. Well, she is one ugly Sea Hag. She just shows up and oh god, oh no, making me weak. Whatever. Criminal Past. Oh, this is a background for your commander. 1 black and 2, legendary enchantment background. Still not sure how backgrounds work. Is it something that sits in the command zone, counts as part of your color identity? Can you have multiple backgrounds? Can you play them in your deck as well? How does this operate, right? Is there a way to get them free? What does it mean when it says choose a background? Does that just mean grab a background, put it in your hand? So this is one where you can make your commander into a criminal. If you've ever wanted Gerard Capuchin, the leader of the crew of the Weatherlight, to be evil, you could give him a criminal past. So it gives commanders you own menace, and +X/+0. X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. All right, you want to play a graveyard strategy? That works. The artwork shows something criminal happen. You've never cared much for laws or authority, especially when they get in your way. Oh, it's literally like one of those little descriptions they'd have in the D&D books to tell you what the past is like. I never cared much for law or authority. Give this to somebody with Lawbringer in their name or something. Then we've got Nothic. Look at that thumb indicating how intense this guy is. Look at that eyeball. An eyeball with weird teeth or upside down bunny ears, whatever. It's got weird insight. 5 mana, 4/3. Roll a 20. 1 to 9, draw a card, lose a life. 10 to 19, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. 20, draw 7 cards, lose 7 life. That's bonkers, bro. That is crazy. I mean, you only got a 5% chance, right? But still, that's nuts. Then you got Passageway Seer. 1 black and 3 for a 2/2. Tiefling Warlock. It's got lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, you get initiative. At the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So, I mean, even if your opponent steals the initiative, you're going to be getting at least a 3/3. But ultimately, pretty underwhelming, right? Then you've got the Sturge, which is 1 black for a 1/1 flying insect bat. Got to drain blood. I don't know, man. The draining blood idea of like paying a life and sacrificing it to draw a card feels weird, right? Why can't the Sturge block? And why does sacrificing it draw you a card? I remember these being horrifying bloodsuckers from when I played D&D. They were scary. It was like, oh, I'm low level. No, don't let them get me. Like, I was terrified of these things. This just feels real underwhelming. And what are you going to do? Same thing that happened with the previous D&D set. Not all the cards land. How are you supposed to make a Tarrasque that feels like the Tarrasque, right? Summon Undead. You got your resurrection action. Raising the Dead. 1 black and 4 for a sorcery that lets you mill 3 cards if you want to. Then you get to pick a creature card from your graveyard and return it to the battlefield. Now, interestingly enough, this one doesn't target. So your opponent can't respond to you targeting something with it by removing that specific card from the graveyard, right? They basically have to do it beforehand. So the fact that it doesn't target does make it slightly better than the other 5 casting cost, bring a creature back from your graveyard. And being able to mill 3 cards to give yourself more targets for it overall is also a nice little add-on. What up, Caleb? How you doing, buddy? Then we got Fang Dragon. 2 red and 5 for a 6/3 with Forktail Sweep. So you can play it as a sorcery, and it deals 1 damage to each creature you don't control. Hey, that's all right on something that's going to be a flyer later on for beefcaking. That'll be decent in drafts, I imagine. Street Urchin, another background. This one gives you sack another creature or an artifact for 1 and deal 1 damage to any target. And it's a red and 1. All right, and this is like, you are a street urchin. I mean, the flavor text is just, if you don't know what a street urchin is, it'll let you know. So, the flavor text is good for literally telling you what the background is, but as flavor text, I find it unexciting because the name will tell me what it is. So, that flavor text at least. Then you've got Dreadlonorm. 1 green and 6 gets you a 7/6. This is just an upgraded scaled worm. It's got the scale deflection where you can pay 4 at instant speed to put 2 +1/+1s on a creature, untap it and give it hexproof until end of turn. And then the creature, when it's out, can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or less. This is pretty underwhelming, right? Let's be real. But what do you expect? There's going to be a lot of that in here. Then we're getting like a huge batch of random stuff dumped on us that was opened from a number of boosters. So it's like collector boosters. So of course we're going to have a bunch of the chaffy commons and uncommons you get at the beginning of the pack. Mustard, you like how they're using the adventure ability? Yeah, man, it's sweet. You look upon the Tarrasque. 1 green and 4 for an instant. Choose one. Run and hide. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to you and creatures you control this turn. Or gather your courage. Target creature gets +5/+5 and indestructible until end of turn. All creatures your opponent control able to block this creature this turn do so. So it's a massive lure effect, +5/+5 and indestructible. I love that as a combo. And I like the artwork showing the Tarrasque looming up over the city, but looking smaller than in the artwork we've previously seen him in. The Tarrasque is a 10/10. Here he looks like a 5/5 or 6/6 maybe. He looks small, doesn't he? Look at the dude in front of him for scale. It's cool. The image of a lone warrior with his bow there in this town that's on fire and it's all dark and sooty and you're just facing down the Tarrasque against a stormy sky. That's awesome. And the option of run and hide or gather your courage are two perfectly feasible options. I dig it. Ball, Lord of Bale, Lord of Murder. Green, red, black, and 2 for a 4/4. It is it's a god. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, he has indestructible. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and goad it. All right, so you can choose your own creatures to boost if you want, but then they'll be goaded and have to swing. So, bit of a trade-off, right? Or you can just force your opponents, but you gotta grow their creatures. You got some options. Seems all right for Commander. Then we've got Janjensen. Somebody who has Jansen as part of their name was talking about this card in the comments today. I love this card. I have to build a deck around it, and I said, only play it in January. So, Janjensen, January's Chaos Crafter. Oh, look at that. You got JJCC. That's satisfying. That is satisfying. 1 black, 1 white, 1 red, 3/3 Gnome Artificer with haste. Tap him, sack an artifact creature, create 2 treasures. Tap him, sack a non-creature artifact, create 2 1/1 constructs. So basically you can just go, boom, I'm going to take a non-creature artifact and make 2 creature artifacts. Or I'm going to take a creature artifact and make 2 non-creature artifacts. He is very good at taking something and turning it into something else, but more of it. I mean, it's like an infinite resource machine. That is pretty solid. And he looks funny in the artwork. He's got this kind of mad, crazy glee in his face. I am crafting chaos! I think my favorite gnomes come from, Dragonlance, because they're a lot of fun. Anyways, next is OG the Exquisite Blade, who, there's just something about his pose looks goofy. 1 blue, 1 white, and 2 for a 2/3 legendary human monk. When it enters the battlefield, gain 2 life and scry 2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile up to 1 target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So you can keep blinking this guy out if you want, every time you play your second spell a turn, and keep kind of massaging the top of your deck and gaining life. So it's all right. This isn't a card that super excites me, and I do feel like the artwork looks goofy. I'm sure he definitely looks like a severe monk, but it's goofy to me, bro. Then you got Rilsa Rael the Kingpin. Wow, could you be any more shadowy? We're looking for a shadowy figure. Submits artwork to Wizards. Shadowier! Submits artwork to Wizards. More shadows! Submits artwork. Wizards just goes, somebody put this in paint and grab the spray paint and just spray fucking black all over this bitch. Look at this. What is with this artwork? What? This has to just be the picture. Anyways, black and blue and 3 for a 2/5 with Death Touch. When she enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. I assume it's a she. Enters the battlefield, take an initiative. When you attack, target attacking creature gains Death Touch on the turn. If you completed a dungeon, they also get +5/+0 and gain First Strike and Menace till end of turn. That's a big boost to get from completing a dungeon. That is legit. All right. Arcane Signet is back, looking okay. You know what? It's okay. It's got a hand with a ring. There's my signet ring. It's underwhelming, admittedly. But hey, taps to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Costs 2 to put out. It's fine. Whatever. People are going to be happy about it. Dungeoneer's Pack. 3 mana artifact, enters the battlefield tapped, 2 tap, sack it. You take the initiative, gain 3 life, draw a card, and create a treasure token. Activate only as a sorcery. I mean, you're paying 5 mana overall. You're paying 5 mana and waiting a turn to get the initiative, gain 3 life, draw a card, and create a treasure token. But you can pay that 5 mana across 2 turns. So it's okay, probably just draft level garbage, though. And the artwork, I mean, there you go. You got a pack full of stuff. That's the concept. Makes sense flavor-wise. Then there's Rug of Smothering. 3 mana for a 1/3 artifact construct with flying. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose a life for each spell they've cast this turn. Alright, I mean, that doesn't make sense. Cursed Rugs will smother you, but whenever you cast a spell, every time you cast a spell, the rug's like, I'm gonna smother you. You cast 2 spells, I'm gonna smother you more. You can cast 3 spells, I'm gonna smother you more. But also, I can just attack and smother. It's like, what? This is confusing to me. Whatever. Moving on. Noble's Purse. 2 mana for a bag of gold. Enters the battlefield tap with 3 coin counters on it. Tap. Remove a coin counter from Noble's Purse, create a treasure token. Now, see, I like this because Wizards of the Coast hasn't been making many cards with treasure tokens lately. If you look at Streets of New Capana, there actually aren't any cards in the set that make treasure tokens. And since we don't have like this massive glut of treasure tokens, and because Wizards isn't cramming treasure tokens into absolutely every set, I find it really refreshing to find a card that's just an artifact that taps 3 times to make a treasure token. Because it's been a long time since we've seen treasure tokens. And I really don't understand why they didn't put any treasure tokens in New Capana. You figure like maybe they would put that on like almost every card to represent every aspect of money in a super lazy way of, you know what, I feel like I'm getting off on an aside here. Let's move on. Swiftfoot Boots. 2 mana for a piece of equipment that says equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Equip for 1. One who wears magical boots of striding and springing can jump astounding distances. Works for me. Take a look at the artwork. Looks pretty swift. Them feats is on fire, son. Then we got Wayfarer's Bauble. Definitely a Rejoice Commander player reprint. That's something people have been clamoring for. 1 mana artifact. 2 and tap it, sack it. Search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped and then shuffle. There you go. Go get yourself a basic land. Not too shabby. After that, we've got Bountiful Promenade, showing we're getting the cycle of these lands that enter the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents in the allied cycle. So this is white and green. The artwork, this picture isn't the greatest. Like, it is a little blurry, but the artwork is gorgeous on this card. I absolutely love it. It's great. And then you've got some gates. The Citadel Gate, the Cliff Gate, 2 variations of the same thing, come into play tapped, are aligned with one particular color, let you choose another color to go alongside it, right? And these gates definitely have solid uniformity to them. It could be the same gate pretty much, right? So, I mean, it's funky. They're doing some gate stuff. I'm not super excited by the gates themselves, but when we talk about the 9-fingered chick later on, gates become more interesting. All right, now we're hey, fat lady with some muffins. Welcome to Magic the Gathering. I'm gonna summon up demons and dragons and try and rend your soul. What are you gonna do? Have you met the muffin chick? The muffin chick, the muffin chick. She's a busybody from Baldur's Gate. Like, what? I kind of love the idea, like, because I still think of planeswalkers from the old school, old world way of thinking about it, right? And if you don't know what the old school, old world way of thinking about planeswalkers is, like, you actually go out and, like, every creature that you have or whatever, all these things, like, you've formed a bond with them and there's only like one of them in existence or whatever. And that accounts for every dragon, whatever. Like, if you get a Shivan dragon, you literally went and found a Shivan dragon and basically placed a magic bond upon it that lets you draw it from its homeland through the blind eternities to where you are when you're having magical duels. And when you're done, you'd return it to its home if it survives. But if it's dead, it ain't coming back unless you have resurrection magic. And to me, that is still my personal canon for Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast has come along And they don't like that because, oh, wait, that's actually kind of awful in some ways if you think about it. We don't like that. So you know what we're going to say? All planeswalkers just create construct copies of creatures. So you're just fighting with meaningless constructs that aren't actually beings. And on one hand, you know what? It actually is much easier than having to replace your troops. And you don't have to worry about any moral qualms whatsoever about, oh, my heart, the dragon got harmed in my quest for power. Oh, I'm morally good. You know what? Magic the Gathering isn't as bad as that awful game, Pokemon. Because did you know those Pokemon aren't simulations and those children make them fight? Not us here at Magic. No real people were harmed in the battles between planeswalkers. Everything is safe for 4-year-olds. Get your soothers out. Like, that is the level that feels to me. I hate it. So I live with the old style canon where I am literally summoning these beings to battle for me. So in this case, that means somebody found Ellen Hargreaves, this fat muffin human peasant lady, and it was like, Kaja, magical bond upon you. I'm going to summon you into a battle full of demons and stuff. Shit's gonna get wild. 1 white and 3 for a 2/4 human peasant. Tap. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. Put one of those cards into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Man, I wish they made more treasure tokens, and treasure tokens were more prevalent, because that would go great with this ability. But unfortunately, Wizards doesn't make enough treasure token cards. So yeah, this chick makes extra treasure tokens in terms of muffins, and somebody decided to, I'm gonna link with you because show up, help me pick my background. Am I a troubled loner? Oh, am I a dark brooding stranger? Help me, Ellen Hargreaves, you damn busybody. What an amazing concept. How dare you guys not like the stream more for Ellen Hargreaves' busybody? How dare you not like the stream for the fat muffin lady who's got a weird sort of strange mouth? The more that I look at it, the more I'm drawn into her face. Give her the respect she deserves. 1 like equals 1 muffin. Lazel Vlacket's champion. Let's move on to the next card. 1 white and 2 for a 3/3 legendary Gith. This is the first. Did they have Gith in the other Dungeons and Dragons set? Is this the first time there's a Gith in Magic now? Okay, so anyways, 3/3. If you'd put 1 or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control, or on yourself, put that many +1 of each of those kind of counters on that permanent or player instead. So if you have experience counters or something, you get to add more to yourself as well, on top of counters that go on other stuff, and you get to choose a background. Hey, Lazel, come on over with me and Ellen Hargreaves. She's got some nice muffins, but she's going to pry into your life. She's a real busybody, but in a pinch, she's so fat you can run a damn mammoth into her torso and she'll survive. She's 2/4. You can run an elephant into her. And yeah, she'll be laying there on the ground and go, my spine. I'm like, Ellen, shut up. I'm going to heal you. I'm going to heal you when I finish this muffin. Stop crying, Ellen. It was just a mammoth. You're going to live. She's a house, man. Anyways. She's got 4 toughness, bro. She's beefy. Next, we've got Lulu the Loyal Hollyphant. Have a holly jolly fant. All right, one white and 3 for a 2/2 thumb flyer. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control, then untap them. I mean, you can use this to beef your guys each turn. That's all right. That's not too shabby. All right, let's move on. Let's move on from the busybody. Gale, the Waterdeep Prodigy. Oh my God, Gale, what happened to you? What happened, bro? 1 blue and 2 for a 1/3 legendary human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast up to 1 target card of the other type from your graveyard. If a spell cast from your graveyard this way will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Choose a background. All right, so look at this guy. Look at his hair, man. What is happening? Is he splorping goo onto himself? His hand is going like this. Magic's flowing out of his hand. Is it blamping onto his body? Is he supposed to be healing himself? Why is one side of his head all frazzled and have way more white hair? Why does he look like he just got out of bed? I do not understand this art direction. All right. Immo and Mystic Trickster. Good lord. Look at you. 1 blue and 2 for a 2/3 with Ward 2. Beginning your end step, if you have the initiative, draw a card. Draw another card if you've completed a dungeon. That's some serious resources right there. That's not too shabby at all. That face, though. Good lord. Is she the one who did that to Gale? Look at that. Look at that face. Gale's over there like, oh, God. Oh, God. Moving on. Nemesis Phoenix. 2 red and 3 for a 4/2 flyer. 1 red and 2. Return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Activate only during declare attacker step and only if you're attacking 2 or more opponents. So, no good for anybody who just likes to play one-on-one, unfortunately. Then we've got Baba Lasaga. I want Baba Yaga. Where's her hut? Baba Lasaga Night Witch. A black, a blue. Nope. A black, a green, and 1. 3/3 human warlock. Tapper. Sack up to 3 permanents. If there were 3 or more card types among the sack permanents, each opponent loses 3 life. You gain 3 life. You draw 3 cards. So you could sack an artifact creature, and that would count as 2 types right there. And then you just got to slap in an enchantment or a land or whatever else, and then you're going to nail your opponent for 3, gain 3, and get 3 cards. That's solid. I will slap this in my cube. 100%. 100%. What do we got? Bob, we already saw Ball. Dynaheim, Invoker, Adept. A white, a red, a blue, and 1 for 4 haste. You may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. When you next activate an ability this turn by spending 4 mana or more mana... Okay, I'm sorry. I can't make it past the first part of this because my brain is confused. She has haste. And the ability, you may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. But... Okay, whatever. I just don't know why it specifies other. Why doesn't it just say you may activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste? Why does it have to say other creatures? Why can't it count her because she has haste? Like, why add haste up here and other down here? Except for the most crazy rule cases where it's like, well, if you have something that removes haste from creatures, it'll remove it from her, and then she wouldn't be able to activate her ability the turn she came at. It's like so corner case that my brain goes, what? Anyways, it's a minor thing, but it seems needless. You know what I mean? What up, people? What up, Mervlock Bear? What up, Fit? And some other people who came in here. I see you too. Roughneck, the day stream. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we're going to be doing more of them over here. Get back in the groove. Anyways, continuing with the ability. Tap. When you next activate an ability this turn by spending 4 more mana to activate it, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. I mean, it's an alright card. I just can't get past the whole, like, first abilities wording messing with me. Anyways, let's move on to Mazzy, the fat little halfling knight. Squat. No, you know what? Stout. 1 white, 1 green, 1 red, 3/4. Whenever an enchanted creature attacks one of your opponents, gets +2/+0. Trample. And whenever an aura you control is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, exile it. Until the end of your next turn, you may cast that card. That's not too shabby. You can get a lot of use out of enchantments. Especially considering, like, you could just use it with cheap enchantments over and over, right? Just basically... You can just go cast the enchantment, it hits the graveyard, and you can use it right away. There's no restrictions. Andrew, you want to know how this got leaked? Check out the beginning of the stream when it goes back up, or just scrub back because I covered it, and then you'll get that info, bro. Raphael, Fiendish Saver. 1 red, 1 black, and 3 for a 4/4 flying devil noble. And it's a lord. It gives other demons, devils, imps, and tieflings you control +1/+1 and lifelink. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature card was put into your graveyard from anywhere, create a 1/1 red devil creature token. Alright, so you can actually even pitch creature cards to trigger that. That's not too shabby. That's alright. There's Rilsa. We saw Rilsa already before, so now we know Rilsa's a lady. Sky Diamond. Oh, yeah, that's right. The diamonds are back. So these were originally in Mirage. They're 2 casting cost artifacts. There's one for all 5 colors. They just come into play tapped, tap for a color. Seem like a fine fit for the D&D set. Then we've got some of the flavor text lands. So Plains. Lady Bormal claims an owlbear has been trampling her fields, but there's something unnatural about the tracks it left behind. I like that you can use these as, like, adventure hooks. You know what I mean? You can go, yo, this could be a D&D adventure. Then we've got, after spending all day trying to track down a rare Tante, is that what it is? Tante? You're about to give up when you hear your name whispered from a dark alley. Ooh, whisper my name. All right, Island. The ship's captain promised she'd get you safely to Nethery's ruin, but she is the one who just washed overboard. Oh no! You're adrift at sea. Well, maybe not. You got the pirate ship or whoever it is, but they're gone. That's not good. Then the swamp is the sudden sinkhole was surprising enough, but nothing could have prepared you for the ancient city that was hidden underneath. Hidden underneath. Yeah, that'd be nuts. Fall through a sinkhole, and there's a city down there. That'd be crazy. Oh, we got a background. You can hang out with the squirrels. What's this one? Cloakwood Hermit. 1 green and 2. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature card was put into your graveyard from anywhere, create 2 1/1 squirrels. All right, you're just a squirrel hermit. Fair enough. You want to be crazy squirrel man. Or for the same cost, you can be a master chef. And then your commanders enter the battlefield with an extra +1/+1 counter on it, and other creatures you control get a +1/+1 counter on when they enter the battlefield when your commander is out. Raised by Giants is my favorite background so far. It's 6 mana, right? Like, it's hefty. But it makes your commander's power and toughness base 10/10. And it makes them giants. And it, like, the concept of it, like, you're this dude, you're working for the Giants, putting out a candle with one of those candle dowsers. Look at, that's like your strength training. That's amazing. Then we got Saravok Deathbringer. 1 black and 3 for a 3/4 human knight. At the beginning of each player's end step, if no permanents left the battlefield this turn, that player loses X life, where X is Saravok's power. So that's a pretty interesting way to force people to get active. You better be doing something. Something's got to go to the graveyard. Something's got to give. This dude from Kiss, who's also hanging out at Medieval Times, needs his rewards. And he'll help you pick a background, too. Would you like some mascara to look like me? Then we've got Scion of Halaster. Oh, all right. That is a different kind of background that's not obvious directly from the name to somebody who doesn't know what Halaster is. 1 black and 1. It's a background that says, your commander say the first time you draw a card each turn, instead look at the top 2 cards of your library, 1 into your graveyard, the other back on top of your library, then draw a card. So you get to control somewhat your draw. Flavor text says, most see the Mad Mage as a deranged menace, but you recognize the genius behind his paranoia. Oh, okay, so you're like aligned some way with the Mad Mage. That's nuts. Dark Elder, your guess is you put them on your boyfriend, and when a card tells you to choose a background, you activate it? You activate your boyfriend? Yeah, whatever. I'm getting distracted. Let's get through the cards, and then we'll have a talking about your boyfriend part of the stream, okay? So, let's see. We've seen that. A 9 Fingers Keen. 1 blue, 1 green, 1 black, and 1 for a 4/4 menace with ward. Pay 9 life, which is a crazy level of ward. 9 life is too much. Like, how are you going to do that? I mean, in Commander, it's not as much, admittedly. It becomes more like pay 5 or 6. But still, it feels like so much life, right? And when this thing deals combat damage to a player, you look at the top 9 cards of your library, put a gate from among them onto the battlefield. And then if you have 9 or more gates, you get all the other 8 cards in your hand, which is crazy. But most of the time, you're just going to end up putting those other cards on the bottom of your deck, right? All right, Lithid Harvester, we saw you. Mocking Doppelganger, this one's cool. 1 blue and 3 for a shapeshifter with flash. You may have Mocking Doppelganger enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature an opponent controls, except it has other creatures with the same name as this creature are goaded. So this basically, like, at all times will goad whatever it's copying. So you'll have to swing with it every turn. And the idea of a doppelganger that can show up at instant speed, taking on the guise of somebody and also enraging them beyond all measure is a lot of fun. And I really just like the artwork as well, straight up. This is great. This is a really cool card. I like it a lot. Oh, what? What? Robe of the Ark Magi? No, what? Robe of the Ark Magi? No way, bro. No way. What? Okay, what is this? 1 blue and 2? What? I can't. Hold on, man. I gotta have a sip of my drink. I was fundamentally unprepared to have this sprung upon me. I thought I had seen all the juicy spoilers, but Papa hasn't seen it all, apparently. All right, what do we get? 1 blue and 2 for artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Equip 4 or equip Shaman, Warlock, or Wizard 1. Dude, this is 1,000% going in my cube. The amount of knowledge you can gain from it. And the Robe show! Like all these, it looks like planets swirling around them, or like ion stones or whatever, man. Look at the power swirling around it. I wish this artwork was in better resolution because I fucking love this so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, moving on. Wizards of Thay. 1 blue and 3 for a 3/3 human wizard with Myriad. So if you attack with it, then it makes tokens and it swings at your opponents too. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And you can cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Not too shabby. Reduce the cost and speed up your sorceries. Pretty sweet. Then we've got Eldritch Pact, a card that has a horrific casting cost. 1 black and 6, that's a lot of mana, but the effect is also big. Target player draws X cards and loses loses X life, where X is the number of cards in their graveyard. So it's basically like, yo, if you have more cards in your graveyard than your life total, you're dead. That's crazy. Or you can just go, hey, you know what? I want to draw 10 cards. I'm going to play this on myself. You can use it in a number of ways. Not the most powerful, but it is cool. Then you've got the background of being a passionate archaeologist. For a red and 1, your commanders have, whenever you cast a spell from exile, this creature deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponent. I mean, if you can get a bunch of spells in exile, that's pretty crazy. That's like him uncovering. Every time he uncovers something, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to set somebody on fire. The better my discovery is, the more I'm going to set someone on fire. Oh, I just found an entire dinosaur skeleton. I'm going to set your mom on fire. All right, we got Wrathful Red Dragon. 2 red and 3, 5/5 flyer. Whenever dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. This is bonkers, man. This is bonkers. This is nutty. People like Nathan, dragon lovers, gonna go crazy for this, bro. Like, serious. Anytime my dragons take damage, they just hit them back. I mean, let's be real, though. The name and the concept of the card tie together well. The artwork, Does he look wrathful? No. No. I mean, yeah, you've got a guy who looks like he's got his bow aimed up at it. I guess it's supposed to be. He shot the arrow, hit the dragon. Now the dragon's retaliating on them. But it doesn't feel like the dragon is full of wrath. It feels like he's dealing with like an insect and it almost doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. It's still great artwork. It's a very minor nitpick. It's a cool card too. Then we've got Will's Reversal. 1 red and 2 for an instant. Choose target spell or ability with 1 or more targets. Roll a d20. Add the greatest power among creatures you control. 1 to 14, you can choose new targets for the spell. 15 and above, you can choose new targets and copy the spell and give that copy new targets. So this is solid in terms of a redirect. And if you can hit the second ability and actually double it up, then you're laughing, right? And I do like the artwork literally showing a spell being reversed on its caster. This is a great way to actually illustrate what's going on with the artwork. Now, is Will a Dungeons and Dragons like known character? Is that somebody who's going to be a planeswalker in this set because we have a spell that is attributed to them? I'm not familiar with this name. Then we've got Jahiras Respite. 1 green and 4 for an instant. Search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. So this is something that turns like a big alpha swing by your opponent into bad times for them. I'm going to attack you with 10 creatures. Great, I'll take nothing and strip 10 lands out of my deck. Now, next turn, I have a way less chance of drawing lands, and I have a ton more mana to do stuff. So this is a pretty nutty card, honestly. You know? It's pretty wild. He's in Baldur's Gate 3. All right, cool. I like the artwork for this as well, like the flower patch and everything, the pollen. It makes me think of Settle the Wreckage, but done from a very different perspective. All right, then we've got Traverse the Outlands, 1 green and 4 for a sorcery. Search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. You can get a lot of lands with this, a ton. And the artwork looks pretty funky. I don't know if there's actually a rainbow in the artwork in front of this, or in front of this crazy like tree folk druid, or if that's just part of the foiling from the packaging. But it's interesting artwork. It's like, what's going on? Is life springing up anywhere, or is it just supposed to be he's trekking through this place that has no life, looking for a place that does? Is that what it represents? The end of the journey? I don't know. And then finally, we have Furcag Cunning Instigator. A red, a blue, and 3 for a 3/3 flyer with haste. Whenever one or more dragons you control attack an opponent, goad target creature that player controls. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this combat, you put a +1/+1 counter on Furcag, and you draw a card. So this is a goad lord, because every time you force a creature to swing and it connects, you get a bonus. So you benefit off of Furcag's instigations. Pretty solid overall as a dragon, and definitely very cool as a goad. He's not a goat lord, he's a goad lord, right? So that is the deal. That wraps up all of the spoilers. So if you're just here for the spoiler action and you just wanted to see new cards, there are none left. That wraps it up. So at this point, I'm just going to hang out and chat for a bit like we do in the streams regularly, because that was mostly me just reading through the cards. So, what did you guys like? What did you like out of this stuff? I'm going to have another sip here on my beverage. Man, it's been a busy day. I've been engaged in doing a lot of stuff. We're going to have another stream tonight, later on, over on The Historian as usual. It's Easter weekend. So it's a nice weekend to have some treats and have some good times. That's what I'm planning to do. Had a nice Easter dinner yesterday. Oh, man. But yeah, this is absolutely insane. The leak that's happened here, this many cards. It's like, it's funny to me that there are some people who will genuinely believe that this is intentional. And it's like, why would Wizards intentionally go, here's a bunch of booster packs, just randomly spoil a bunch of cards out of order when we normally like to build up our hype? Like, they have a very particular way of doing things where they hold back a ton of the commons and uncommons till the very end of the spoiler season because they're underwhelming and they destroy the momentum. Something like this destroys momentum of a spoiler season. Fully 1/3 of Wizards set has now just been ganked, and they're going to have to rework their plans most likely, because by the time we get to the spoilers, people aren't going to care. And this is being dropped 1 week before the pre-release. So people who might have spent money on Capana are going to go, you know what? Capana doesn't look that hot. I'm going to save my money for Commander Legends, right? Like, it's just, I can't see any truly strategic benefit to this. There are people who are trying to put forth the concept that, well, Commander and standard markets don't overlap, and there's definitely enough of an overlap that this happening, it can't be intentional. They're not gaining enough from it. Do you know what I mean? They're wanting to hype you about Capana right now. They want you locking in pre-orders for Capana, getting ready for the pre-release, and then the release playing on Arena, MTGO. They're not looking to have you go and be checking this out, right? That's the deal. So, people are free to feel otherwise, because I can't state definitively for a fact that these leaks aren't intentional. I just can't logically get to where these other people are, where it makes sense to me. I just go, they lose too much that whatever it is you think they're gaining, it's outweighed, where it's like, they're going to get people hyped up about this, like, way too early, and impact sales of something that they're trying to push out there that doesn't actually have a lot of strength. I don't feel like New Capana has very strong legs right now in terms of running out there and people, like, wanting a ton of it. Now, I don't know. That could just be me being, like, my bias coming through, and the fact that I'm not, like, a massive fan of Capana, right? That might be it too. So who knows? Maybe it'll do just fine. I had issues I didn't like about Ikoria. Ikoria did just fine. ultimately, I'm not the arbiter of this stuff, but I do feel like this leak will negatively impact Capana sales. It was totally unintentional. It was not done on purpose. And Wizards of the Coast doesn't really stand to benefit much at all from this, you know? It's really like, it really just kind of throws it, like, new Capana spoiler season is kind of still needs to push out all the Commander spoilers, doesn't it? I'm not even sure. Like, this doesn't seem like solid marketing maneuvering to me. Nathan, of course you have a deck that dragon's going into. I was just mentioning how you'd be all jacked about the dragon, bro. Baldur's Gate 3 is super fun, even in pre-release. Is it a oh, it's the Baldur's Gate 3 game? Is that what we're talking about? I don't know. Is that? Or are we talking about Dungeons and Dragons modules? Nathan, speaking of pre-release, will I be able to make it to Phoenix Rising for that? I mean, if you're thinking the same thing as last time, hell yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. Totally. Getting out and playing Magic with people in person erases a lot of the downsides that I tend to find by myself on my own or when we're online, where it's just like, I don't like this about whatever. But when you're actually playing with it, I'm like, oh, I'm just playing Magic cards and having fun now. And there's a bunch of stuff I want from Capana for my cube. I think ultimately what I failed to really get across to everybody the way I wanted to is that I don't hate new Capana. My concerns are that new Capana has a lot of symptoms of being a lazy and rushed set, and too many lazy rushed sets are bad for the overall health of the game, on top of giving us a shallow pool of lore and everything else, right? So it's not just a matter of personal preference, but something I believe is important for the genuine overall health of the game long term too. Because I love Magic the Gathering. I'm having a great time with it. I don't like it when I see things that feel like, that's why I react the way I do. It's like, no, I don't want this to happen. It's like, make sets like New Capana with your mobster concepts. Do weird concepts if you want to. That's fine. Bring new people into the game. Experiment outside of it. Because that kind of stuff in my cube has shown me it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I'm cool with that. My problem with Capana ultimately boils down to a concern about the direction and effort level that Wizards is putting into sets as opposed to a particular flavor concept. You know? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Combat, how you doing, buddy? Going through some spoiler action. You know what? I'm going to leave that Robe with the Ark Magi up on the screen. I love it. I love it. Do you see this reaction now? Think about it. Now I'm already thinking about how I want to add these cards to my cube, right? Right? So it's like, hey, all right. I'm already moving past Capana. Roughneck, you think my view has been really objective? This way of describing New Capana as open and honest and in no way similar to the big boss monster. I think your view is well founded. Thanks, man. I remember when I went boss monster, it would be very ranty and it would be very one-sided and unfair. It was basically like, agree with me or fuck you. That was the mentality I had then. Now I have a more measured mentality where ultimately I'm trying to enjoy myself. And I was with Capana. I had a bunch of Capana videos come out that were all me happily talking about Capana, and a bunch of lore videos happily talking about Capana. And then I do one video where I'm talking about my gripes. Now, admittedly, the energy in that video wasn't the type of energy that's good for the Historian channel, and I should have streamed out my frustrations so that I could be more coherent and cohesive in the video. And that's where I failed. So I got reactions from people where they didn't get the message properly from me, and they think I'm upset about whatever. But some people's complaints were fair, and some people were completely unfair. Like, somebody left a comment just going, it was crazy because they've been subscribed for 2 years, and it was like, bro, all you do is make negative content and whine. I don't want this. I want mature content. And I just looked at it and went, it says this guy's been subscribed for 2 years. And I'm like, I'm living in Bizarro World, aren't I? And I'm like, I go and click on all my recent videos and look, and I'm like, oh, look at that. These are all positive videos about New Capana. All positive videos about New Capana. All positive videos about New Capana. So I put out, at least half a dozen straight in a row positive videos about New Capana, released 8 positive lore videos about it, and I've had a bunch of nice things to say about it. And now I do one video where I explain my frustrations, and all I do is make negative content, and you want mature positive content, and yet the last 6 videos I've made are exactly what you're saying that you want, but you're not looking for it and you're not engaging with it. It's incredibly frustrating for me. It's like I run a free juice bar and I just keep putting out glasses of grape juice every day going, man, everybody loves grape juice. I like grape juice. We're all good, right? And then one day I'm like, all right, I'm putting out orange juice today, man. I'm not happy with grape juice. I'm putting out orange juice today. And then somebody sees orange juice, comes running over, picks up the orange juice, swigs it and goes, ugh! I hate orange juice. Drink some more. Oh, I hate orange juice. I hate everything associated with orange juice. Pulls a bottle of orange juice out of their pocket, starts chugging it down. Oh, drink some more of my orange juice. Oh, I hate orange juice. And it's like, let me understand this. Let me understand this scenario. I have made positive video after positive video. Even the titles of most of the videos can't be mistaken for negative. Some you could, but virtually all of them are positive. And if you watch them, you would know they were. It's exactly what you say you're looking for. It's the grape juice, right? But no. You're actually attracted to orange juice. Here's a little secret for you. YouTube uses an algorithm, and it's based on what you want. And it doesn't listen to what you say, it pays attention to what you do. So you can wander around saying you want grape juice all day, but the YouTube algorithm sees you walk by grape juice after grape juice after grape juice, ignoring it, actively looking for orange juice. It knows that if it puts orange juice in front of you, you will swill it down every time. So YouTube understands your negative nature and only serves you the videos that I make that are negative content. You are actively drawn to negativity so much that you only come to my negative videos to be negative about them, compounding the negativity, and at the same time actively avoid everything I make that you say that you want. And this isn't the first time it's happened. This happens with people where they come to me accusatorily and say, I want this content. They've done it to me on videos that were actually the content they wanted to see. I had done however many videos of a style they didn't like, and I was going back to the style they like. I missed this style video. I respond back with, well, great news. The video you're actually commenting here is the exact kind of video you're looking for. Well, I don't care about that actually, because you said this thing in your stream over here. And I'm just like, but I thought your objection to what I did was that I don't make the grape juice. No, I don't care about the grape juice. You said something in a stream. And I'm like, so you said this, but you don't mean it? Or now that I'm pointing out to you that you look silly for your is it that you feel silly so you have to change? There's no point in pointing, there's no point. You just point out to them, this is you. You choose what you do here. You choose to click on these negative titles. You've literally just compounded it further. I went on to explain to the guy. I said, here's what you should do. You should click on the 3 little dots beside one of my videos and tell YouTube to never show you my videos again. Because the last X number of videos I've done have been positive, and you're not watching them. You only want to watch negative videos. That's what YouTube is serving you. And then you're here acting like I'm responsible for this. You're responsible for your own choices. So remove my channel from YouTube, recommending it to you altogether, unsubscribe, and I'm going to block you right now as well so that we can both move forward and we're done with this. Because it's just absurd. Do you know what I mean? I read all the comments, and when I see somebody's been subscribed for years, I'm like, well, clearly you liked what was going on here at some point, and when you don't, it's time to leave. Don't stay subscribed. Don't click on the videos and don't watch them if they're just going to make you unhappy. If you like it, great, cool. And I'm not saying if you hate what I do and don't automatically criticize, whatever, if that's what you want. But if the criticism is just based on a non-reality and is so over the top, it becomes meaningless. Do you know what I mean? If I go to the beach 6 days out of the week and I go to the forest 1 day out of the week, and then you come to me and yell at me that all I ever do is go to the forest, I can't take you seriously. It's just, you are just unhappy to be unhappy. This isn't me. This is you. right? Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? So yeah, that's just it comes with the territory. So I've learned that when somebody hits a certain level of maniac, I just block them. Some people will just scream at me. I don't explain to them. Well, some of them actually I do, depending. I just go, I have to admit, your reaction seems so over the top that I think you're adding genuine stress to your life by watching my content. I think you should probably stop watching this stuff. What I'm going to do is block your comments, because when I see it, I see like a person who it seems like you're hurting or whatever. Like, I don't even have the reaction of wanting to tell you to go fuck yourself. I want to be like, bro, are you okay? But you're an adult and can do whatever you want. So I'm just going to tell you to stop coming here. It's adding to your stress, and I'm just going to block you, because I don't need that extra load on my mind. I think too much about people, and ultimately I care too much about people. It's one of the things I've had to learn to overcome doing this, is taking people's opinions and comments too seriously. That was actually hard for me at the beginning. I took people's comments very seriously, like they really meant them, instead of looking at the throwaway nature half the time they turn out to be. So whatever, man. It's a part of the game. What are you gonna do? Nathan, Phoenix 11, yeah, hell yeah. Sorry I got distracted, buddy. Sorry I got distracted and didn't notice that. Appreciate it. I appreciate your stealth pre-release super chat. Blue yeah, y'all got any more of that juice? Like, what I'm saying though makes sense though, right? Like, you understand the underlying logic when I explain, like, I can't control what YouTube algorithm shows you. And the YouTube algorithm, it just shows you what you zero in on. So if you're somebody who just watches things about things going wrong, of course that's what you're going to see. I don't understand how it's not evident to you. Like, how can you go, all I do is make negative videos, when you know I make videos all the time, but you can't be watching them? Like, you just, it's crazy. I don't know. Nathan, yeah, bacon and sausage streams. Yeah, boy, that's my element. We're bringing more of that back. This channel is going to be bumping with streams, honestly. I'm going to keep streaming. I got to do, there's an Elden Ring stream I got to do. I got a fucking Minecraft searching for gold and lava stream we got to do. I got a bunch of stuff. Those are just the two that are at the front of my priority list. Some people like being indignant, they look for it. Correct, Tasty Rick. And the Magic population has a lot of actually style people who love to correct me when they're wrong. Some people are right when they do it, because I'm not always right, but it's amazing the number of people who like tell me I'm wrong in a snooty way when they're wrong, and I'm just like, now I just ignore it. I just, whatever, buddy. Let everybody see you don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. But I remember I used to have to be like, let me tell you something. You don't know. I'm like, why? Let them think that. Who cares? If it makes them feel like I told the magic historian I know something better than them. You call yourself the magic historian? Yeah, I do. And guess what? Fucking like 40,000 different people listen to me, bro. So go ahead. Leave your comment. You ain't hurting my feelings. Yeah, I showed him. It's like, all right, that's fine. I got enough people to listen to me. So if it makes you feel good to leave it in the comments, my feelings ain't hurt. Oh no. So, oh no, Blampy47's like, you moron. You call yourself the magic historian and you don't know this one tiny little side thing that I do? And it's like, do you want to play a game of who knows more about magic? Because I guarantee you, we could go on a lot and there's going to be a lot more points you don't know about. And I do, pal. So, whatever. I'm literally the magic historian. That doesn't mean I know everything about the game like a robot. You don't know every pro player's record? No, I don't care about the Pro Tour. It's pretty nutty. Pretty funny. It's amusing to me the way that people operate. Blue Fett, enjoy 2 meals of the day, have 1 bad meal, and say serve the worst food ever. Yeah, that's how people are. Like, the ones that really do blow my mind, though, are the ones that have been subscribed for a long time and just haven't left. It's like, if you're frustrated enough to feel like all I do is one thing, and you want this other thing, but you refuse to look and even see if I'm doing that thing, why are you here? Like, when I'm done with something, I'm just done with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm ever fully ever done with Magic, I'm done with it. You won't find me hanging around on forums. You won't find me leaving comments talking about how I left. I'll just be gone. I mean, I'll be real. I don't ever see it happening. I'm gonna ride this ship till it fucking sinks, bro. Until it sinks, either till Magic's in its grave or I'm in mine, bro. I'm a Magic boy for life. Nathan, getting close to a badge upgrade here, less than 2 months away. We do need to brainstorm some badge ideas for the channel membership here, right? Especially for people who have already gotten on board and are maturing and growing their memberships so that they can be the first golden boys of this channel, right? Over on the Historian, we've got a bunch of shield bearers who have primed it up. But over here, this is virgin territory, just waiting to get hoed, you know? Whew, that was a laden sentence. Vassal, you think part of the problem is YouTube doesn't explain how the algorithm works? That's true. They don't explain it underneath. But here's how they do explain. YouTube pays attention to you to figure out what you like and give you more of it. That's it. So if you're seeing more and more negative stuff, you're that kind of a person. I learned that lesson, man. I used to do tons of negative stuff. And the kind of people you get come by are like, we're only doing negative stuff. Are you enjoying this good stuff? Are you liking this? I hate it. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything sucks. I hate everything. Those people are the worst. It's like, oh my God, you can't enjoy anything. That's not the point here, you know? Anyhow, this has been an enjoyable stream. Thanks for coming and hanging out, my friends. We've got a stream later on today over on the Historian. This one would be left up, so if you missed any part of it, feel free to watch it later. Hey, Nathan, just noticed this free chat sitting here. You used your membership message to full effect. Or at least partial effect. Anyhow,